Hello and welcome back to Sprite Guard Plays Probability Zero. I'm going to do a Karma run. We have Karma level 8, so that means we get 8 upgrades, and then we have to collect as many collectibles as we can, but we don't get any more levels in the game proper. So I'm going to start out, as I always do, with the forward star. That is an attack that I find very useful for a lot of different things. I find it makes dealing with monsters a little bit easier, and it lets me get to star blocks a little bit easier. Now I want to use knees because that lets me fall without taking damage. And then I think I want to use Have Faith. Now I have 5 more. I want to Smash Fist. That will let me punch through walls. I don't need the one that lets me punch through walls quickly. Now, Vanguard Stance is a very good utility, and Star Recycle is very good if I want to do a really star-focused run. So if I spend 1 to get the higher level upgrades, I'll have 3 left, which I think would let me get 3 star upgrades, which is not quite enough. So I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do a little bit more of a mobility focused run. So I'm going to get the teleport, and then I think what I'm going to do is get Heart Spy, Find Your Perfect Match, or Forever Knees actually. Forever Knees I think is what I'm going to get. And so that will let us fall as far as we want without taking damage, and we can... I don't know what to say. That was... that was funny more than anything else, but it kind of left me speechless that I don't even know what to say. Let's go back to the menu. Let's play some expert mode. Let's kill some monsters. I try to focus on non-violent games as much as I can on this channel, but I have to admit that a lot of the games that I like are violent, that there aren't a lot of games that I like that are non-violent, especially when most of the games that I really like are non-violent action games, and how many of those do you ever see? That's a very rare thing to show up in gaming, though it's something that I want to see more of, and I think that there's a market for. And I think we're starting to see a little bit more in that direction, though it's still quite a ways off. That was not a great way to handle that, but I think I actually got those bubbles, so we're at pretty low health, so I need to be a little bit more careful. I want to head down. Oh, that was not a good way to handle that, and now I can't get to that star block I was going for. So I think the thing to do now is just be careful and try to find some easy prey. Or just hit a monster and die. So let's give that another shot, and then maybe do some pacifist runs, maybe do some low percent runs, see what we can do. Oh, that was a little bit too much of a fall. So I plan on making non-violent action games, and I hope that other people are making them too, because I think they're a lot of fun, and I think there's a lot of potential there that just isn't being tapped, because it doesn't occur to people that they might want to not put violence in a game. It's like violence is just an assumed default in all games. And to a certain degree, that's alright, because I like a lot of violent games. I enjoy these games. There's clearly a market for violent games. That's unquestionable. But I want to see more. I see so much potential for games to be so many things. And right now there are a lot of things, but they could be so much more. It's like I kind of talk about the whole world being on this big logarithmic scale where you can have a big difference between two things, but then there's an even bigger difference between two other things. I'm not sure exactly how to explain it. I mean, you look at games, you look at... My favorite YouTuber to watch is Northern Lion, and he plays a game called The Binding of Isaac, and he is, I think, very good at that game. But there are people who are so much better than him that he has a reputation for being very bad at the game. Even though he can do stuff in that game that would never occur to me. It's kind of an interesting blend of strategy and action. And he can come up with clever plays, and he is pretty good at dodging. But there are people like this guy named Bisnap who are just a lot better than him. And so, as big of a gap as there is between him and me, there's still so much more. I hope you get what I'm saying. I'm not always the best at explaining really abstract concepts like that, but I don't even remember what I was trying to tie it to, because I kind of got off on a tangent. Oh, the number of different things that games can be, I think is like that, is games are a lot of things. And the number of things that they could be that they are not yet, I think is even bigger. I don't know that. I don't have evidence of that, but I think that there's a lot of great future ahead of us. And I think that part of that future is going to be getting other voices into the gaming world. Other people. I think that the influx of middle-aged women into gaming was a good thing. A lot of people don't feel that way. A lot of people see casual games as an offense to gaming, as something that should be fought against. And I believed that, and there are still certain points of it that I do believe, because I do think that the sorts of techniques that a lot of mobile games use do border on exploitation sometimes. I think that they are not always ethical, but I also realize that I'm coming from a perspective of wanting a very specific thing from my game, expecting very specific things from my games, that the people who play mobile games don't actually expect, don't actually want. They want a lot of the mechanisms that I dislike. There's this idea in mobile games of the whale. And the whale is somebody who puts hundreds of dollars into mobile games and doing a lot of the free-to-play stuff that is very harshly criticized in the core gaming world. There is no way out of here without taking damage, and there almost was no way out of there at all. And that was not the skill I wanted to take. Oh well. Carrying on. So, whales spend hundreds of dollars on their games, and I don't know why they do. It's not a motivation that makes any sense to me. But there are enough of them to make mobile games a very lucrative business. And so I know that there are people who want this, and even though it seems incomprehensible to me, I just take it kind of on faith that people do things for reasons, and that people are able to decide what they want. Because I've never met someone who wasn't able to decide what they want. Who wasn't able to make decisions about what games they were going to play. Maybe they exist. Maybe I just haven't met them yet. And that's something that I always try to keep in mind, is that as many people as I've met and as much as I've seen of the world, there's so much that I don't know about. There's so much that I can't even imagine. I have friends who exist in the world in ways that I didn't even know was possible until I met them. And I know that there are more people that I haven't met. There are billions of people in this world. And I've met maybe 100, maybe a few hundred. Not very many. That was almost the end. I was really surprised we survived that. I'm really glad I got punched through walls. It has saved me several times. So I think that it is good that gaming is getting more different voices of people who have desires that are totally different from mine, and desires that seem totally screwy to me. That make me think that nobody could possibly want that. Like, I love it when I think nobody could possibly want that, and then I find someone who does, because it's just another reminder that the world is so much bigger than I can comprehend. And that's such a great feeling. That's part of why I play a lot of procedurally generated games and a lot of roguelikes, roguelites, and these sort of games that have a certain endless character, is because of that feeling of there just being so much more than I can even really understand. And of having my mind's own finiteness shoved in my face. I love that feeling. I don't know why, but it's one of my favorite feelings, and it's something that I chase after a lot. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I know I probably started some tangents that didn't really get wrapped up in the best way possible, but I feel like I had a really good conversation, and I would really like to continue this conversation in the comments. I would really like to hear what you think. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.